Libra, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it, Libra. Happy day. We are in the throes of Aries season. We're coming up on a new moon solar eclipse in Aries. Quite exciting. I love new moon energy because it really gives us the opportunity to set new intentions. Set new intentions for our life, for things that are not necessarily working out in the way that we had wanted or hoped, and really just do some reevaluating. Aries season is all about honoring self, investing in ourselves. That value that if we're not going to invest in ourselves, we can't really give back to partnerships in the way that we want to. And obviously, you know that very well, Libra, because you are the ruler of partnerships, of relationships. And Aries is an opposite energy of you. You're so used to kind of investing in others and putting yourself to the side. And now that's really being highlighted in our dynamics, right? In the way that people, situations are kind of approaching things. We have Mercury, Venus in retrograde right now, which is highlighting the tension, the places that things really aren't as reciprocal as what we had wanted, and forcing us to do something about it. New moon, solar eclipse brings change in our external environment. So we're in this phase of like people have to put their money where their mouth is or else. No, dun, dun, dun. No, I'm kidding, but true, you know? So that's why I like to start off these readings with an energy cleansing, just kind of set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out some of the blocks, some of the limitations you might be experiencing right now. It's also a really good time to set your own intention for the reading, Libra, especially if you've come into this with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a great way to personalize these collective readings. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation and how things are specifically faring for you, or if you're looking for more of a rebalancing, realigning of your mind, body, soul. I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're operating from that space of alignment, we're choosing things that make us happy, that make us feel fulfilled, that actually bring meaning and purpose to our life. So all the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. I would love to help. I would love to support. That is my heart always, if you're interested. So definitely hit me up and we'll get into it. All right, Libra. Sorry, this is a little wild. It's the end and it's burning my fingies, but I like to not waste, right? All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. See, there's an art. There's an art to avoiding the fire. I feel like that's actually like a metaphor for some of the stuff, that you are going through right now, Libra. We're in a fire season. It's been a lot to get here. There's a lot that's changing. There's a lot that's transforming in our environments. And we are more supported. The astrology has been working in our favor lately. However, it's not necessarily taking away the difficulties that we have been dealing with 100%. It flipped to tarantula and bird's nest. So places where people, situations are infiltrating our stability, our home life, our job, our finances, our money, however that fares for you. People that are trying to get at that, gosh, we can't help it. The rats. infestation, poison is what I'm hearing. And, you know, it's even though like the support in the astrology doesn't take away the hardship per se, it helps give that fuel to the fire. Aries season is igniting that fire within us. The more we invest in ourselves, the more we give credence to what we want, what we feel, how we see things, etc., the better it's going to get. And Virgo also got this energy of shifting perspectives. Sometimes it is as simple as a perspective shift, right? Sometimes, I don't know, it depends, right? It depends on what we're dealing with, who we're dealing with, how it's faring out. Sometimes people really are trying to hurt us or, you know, operating out of their own pain, however you want to see it. And sometimes we need to create those boundaries. Sometimes it is too toxic, etc. But there's also this value of when we get stuck in the toxicity. What do I mean by stuck? Is like when we keep fixating, well, this person did this or they did that or, you know, whatever. It's keeping us connected to that toxicity. And sometimes, you know, it's a shoulda, woulda, coulda energy is what I'm hearing. This is something like, I feel like hardship, challenges, difficulties, we move through them so we can become a better version of ourselves. We might not know all the whys. We might not understand all the ins and outs, but what this is leading to is very beautiful for yourself. The iris does connect us to our intuition, to our higher knowing, our higher self. Very similar energy to Virgo. You could have Virgo placements or dealing with Virgo, excuse me. I don't know why these are all crazy today. Okay. Well, okay. So there is like some anxiety around certain things that are ending, that are closing out. Relationships is a huge focus, and even more so right now because Venus is in retrograde. Both Venus and Mercury are going to be in retrograde through mid-April. So dynamics of relationships are being highlighted. And again, like I was saying before, specifically so we can find those little nooks and crannies where we need some refinement. We need some cleaning out. Spring cleaning is what I'm hearing. But you are kind of dealing with a force of nature. The Emperor is Aries energy. This is someone who, yeah, I feel like, okay, like this, ooh. Let me pull a little bit. But this is someone who really needed to kind of push and force their agenda. I'm almost hearing like, going back to what I was saying of getting stuck, it's almost hard not to, is what I'm seeing. It's almost hard not to. I feel like maybe you made some choices, made some decisions that they did not see coming, that they didn't expect coming at all. They're kind of angry, and I don't even want to say kind of angry at you about it, but I feel like, you know, they're kind of looking at you like you left them high and dry, and you feel, I don't know, there's a part of you that feels responsible, that feels guilty for to some capacity. But at the same time, I don't know, like this feels like a relationship, a dynamic where you did have to do a lot of self-protection. Maybe there was a good thing here to some capacity, but this rose is interesting to me because it's surrounded by thorns. And I know, like, whatever, roses have thorns. There's some, but just the way that it's embodying, the way that it's encompassing. I'm hearing like you felt like you had to protect yourself. Aries energy, Emperor energy is pretty intense. And like I said, it's on the opposite end of the zodiac from you. So it's dealing with someone who is selfish, who's going to put themselves first, who doesn't really have that same empathy towards relationship and expecting you to follow suit. And so you made a decision for your own self, towards your own healing. This person, unfortunate, and I don't know, I'm not necessarily getting the vibe that you were like intending malice against this person's situation. It was just too much. Like, it was just too much. I mean, it's like there wasn't enough good. It was a lot of thorns. It was a lot of thorns to get to the even hypothetical goodness. But the goodness was really small, very sparse, a little bit of breadcrumbing energy around it. because this is someone who wants control. This is someone who's taken a really long time to like learn their lessons because they don't really know themselves. They don't know themselves. They don't know who they are. And they kind of react out of whatever that heat of the moment kind of brings to them. They're very reactionary. But they're losing something big in the process. And this feels like something that has happened to them over and over and over again. They're losing their sense of stability. They're losing their sense of support, stability, but they're blaming a lot of this on you. It feels like, yeah, someone who just like couldn't really get a grip, unfortunately. Just the energies were very, very amiss, you know? They might not be a bad person per se, but the way that the energy, the dynamic came between you two, it looks like, or from your perception, you're saying it's a lot of fighting, it's a lot of emotion, it's a lot of like bad communication, someone needing to control, someone being on top. And like it feels like whatever goodness was in this dynamic, it took a lot to get there. Or as time has passed, there's not as much, you know? But there still is a level of commitment on some level. And I don't know if this is about them, about their energy. Maybe you still have some interactions with them. Things are changing. Things are changing a lot. And this is where Spirit's asking you to shift your perspective. You're being forced to take a different approach. And this different approach is actually protecting you. It's protecting you from the bad behavior or from whatever this is that they're trying to control that they can't. Because as much as they feel like disappointed about this, there is a lot of disappointment. At the same time, they're not changing their ways. You know, they kind of resort back to this quote unquote betrayal, or they're like heavily projecting onto you what someone else has done in the past, right? They're you know, you're failing before they're accusing you. They're setting you up for failure. That's what I'm hearing. Before you even have a chance, before you even have an opportunity. And I feel like maybe shifting, okay, so what is this that you need to understand then about this moving forward? Maybe it is about letting go. Maybe it is about understanding that this was what it was for a period of time. And now choices have to be made. I think it's hard to deny. I don't know. You do feel peaceful. You do feel this sense of like acceptance, because you have done a lot of the work to get here. Wisteria, decelerate. One should never feel rushed. Consider the impact of deceleration. If you gifted yourself time to slow down, what might blossom? 100%. And that's kind of where I see your energy. I mean, I don't know what that's asking for. Let me hold on a second. I feel like it's connected to the perspectives that you have around this person, around this situation. Maybe not rushing through the lesson. Maybe you know that you're closing this thing out, but there's still more to unfold in the process. Dongque, inflorescence. We need to know what needs fixing 100% before we can change it. For example, what aspects of your body, your mind, or your spirit do you believe are out of balance? Before you apply a remedy, are you able to pinpoint and why? Actually, Ayurveda has this very beautiful concept around healing that, like, you know, we have to prepare our body in order to receive that healing. And this is that same value. Dongque is actually incredibly medicinal, especially for the female reproductive system. It has a lot of that divine feminine energy embedded into it. And so I'm hearing this value of, okay, like you've been dealing with something that is forcing you to be in your masculine energy, or something that is forcing you to kind of like keep up the pace, right? It's like you don't have a minute to sit down, and you are slowing down. I do hear that, but it's also bringing awareness to this dynamic, right? That awareness when you pinpoint that awareness of what within you needs healing, whether it is about what you deserve, whether it is about whatever this is that this person's situation is shelling out to you, and you're feeling inferior, less than, whatever it may be, that is where that healing medicine needs to take place. Goldenrod, to make whole. I love that. The cards are so beautiful. It like never lies, right? For those who seek conscious awareness, the gift of enlightenment is within reach. What aspects of your life have fractured your soul? And what steps can you take to unite those pieces and become whole again? I love that. I mean, I am a huge proponent of wholeness, but I think that's such a beautiful way to end your reading, Libra, because you know, and this is also something that Ayurveda talks hugely about, is that value of wholeness. When we are whole, that is when we're making choices that honor and fulfill our life and bring us happiness and peace and purpose. And there's something within this dynamic, this situation with this person that's making you feel unwhole, that's making you feel like you don't deserve that wholeness. And as you shift your perspective, as you start telling yourself truth, that is where you are going to discover this way to unite those pieces that may feel a little bit broken now, and find that unity within. I love that. So beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always, Libra. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below. I love to hear, say hey, sharing a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support that you bring to the channel. No, I'm sending it back your way.